Welcome to the Think Like, an engineer podcast where we discuss how to navigate life with the mindset of an engineer with your host, Ibukun Adeniyi.
We're here again, another episode with my old friend, Ibukun Tunde-Oni. We went to secondary school together. And he's an entrepreneur like myself. I think I should even let you just introduce yourself. So tell us about yourself.
I'm Ibukun. Oh yeah, so we have the same name, Ibukun.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, and I'm the founder and CEO of It Medical. And yeah, so previously I had like two other startups in healthcare and mobility. So that's private engine and our bike. But yeah, I'm here and I'm happy to be here, to be honest.
So serial entrepreneur, doctor.
Oh yes,
a
doctor.
A medical doctor. But you practice for a while. You know, why are you not even practicing? Why are you not practicing anymore?
Well, for me, I'm practicing, right? My license is still valid. I'm practicing, but pre-hospital, pre-hospital care.
That's true. Yeah.
All right. So it's like more emergency medicine, emergency care, everything before the hospital.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's what your startup does.
Basically, that's what the startup does. Like 911 for Africa.
Okay.
So emergency response, things like that. So, so we're like a platform that connects like emergency medical responders, right, to users in distress.
Okay.
Right. So the idea is that you call, you receive care, that kind of thing, right? With technology embedded in between.
Okay. So why didn't you now do like traditional? What made you? Why are you so passionate about it?
Yeah, so that's what I'm getting to. That's what I'm getting to, because the idea really is that practicing every day, right? I practice in public and private sector, right? There's only so much you can do. You wake up every day, go to work, dress up, go to work, and a queue of patients, right? So max in a day you touch 30 lives, right? But then I've always thought, there's definitely more I can do, right, to impact like the healthcare space, right? I can only do 30 a day, right? With technology, you can do thousands a day. You can do millions a day. There are too many people die in this country for us to be seeing 30 people a day, right? Your whole max 300, and you can't see all the 300 a day, right? If you're there for 12 hours, maybe. You're only there for give or take 6 hours, right? See 30 people, see 40 people max, and you're done. And you're not on shift all the time, right? With technology, you can be ever present, right? And there's more impact, basically, that you can offer people. That's in my own opinion. That's really why I decided. I'd rather do tech-enabled or technology related health solutions. Yeah.
But you also went into a bike, which is more like said, mobility logistics. You know. So why that had nothing to do with healthcare? Why did you even?
When you're cycling, aren't you living well?
Okay.
Yeah. To be honest, there's a health
angle.
There's climate change, right? Transportation. But there's a health angle to it. For everyone that cycles, you have an extra 2, 3, 4 days to live, right? You're cycling, you're being healthy, your heart is being taken care of, like your blood is flowing, you're exercising, right, inadvertently, right? Whether you're going to work using bicycle or you'll be exercising, and basically living a good life, breathing in clean air, right? Moving up and down, being actually active. That's why, to a certain extent, our bike, which is
still,
still had like some.
So now, what is now the problem with Nigerian healthcare? Do you guys like what it was? Why? First, we have, there's so many challenges, right? We have this issue of not even having enough doctors. Doctors are jackpotting. You. I don't even know why you've not even jackpot, but I know that there's a lot of, almost everybody that I know that is a doctor is going to Saudi Arabia. Even nurses, are going to Saudi Arabia, England, and the likes, So, what is really wrong with? Is it from the educational perspective? Me, I have my own issues. I have my own stories, which I'll share later with Nigerian healthcare. Do you get but from your own perspective as a doctor, like, what do you think is wrong? And, how do you solve it?
To be honest, right, like you said, issues are plenty. right? But it starts from the top, really, right? I think, first of all, not enough people give a shit, right? Care
About this sector.
about the healthcare sector. Because if you think about it, like if you look at the states, with every president,
Mm-hmm.
right, that came in, there was something to say about healthcare in their manifesto or whatever, right? I mean, we've had 3 proposed presidents, potential presidents coming on now. Have you heard anybody saying about healthcare?
Okay.
Do you get, like, is almost at the back of their mind, right? It's like, oh, there's even healthcare.
Okay.
There's a sector called healthcare, right? But it should be the first thing people should tackle. So
yeah.
if the presidency, right, they're up as high as they are, right, I know even caring about healthcare, how does it trickle down to the...
But why?
to the-
What's the problem?
Honestly,
What's the problem? How do you solve the problem?
Honestly, right?
Is it education that is the problem? Is it that there's not enough hospitals? What is a sustainable solution? Because I don't want to believe that every president is just wicked and there's even a lot of things that the government doesn't get into that works. Do you get? We have like see banking now. It's almost all private banks. See telecoms, almost all private.
So which is what I've said before, right? And I always say again that you have to be your own government in Nigeria currently, right? And for sectors that work, right, they are privately driven. So for healthcare to work in Nigeria, if you ask me, I would say it has to be private led.
But even all those private, they are not doing... Are you saying that they should sell all the government hospitals?
No, so it needs to be private led, privatized, PPP.
Okay.
Right? Private-public partnerships.
Okay.
Right? That's the only... If you ask me, that's the only way we can work. That's
what's stopping that from happening? I mean, we have health insurance already.
Yeah, but I mean, health insurance penetration in Africa is still less than 3%.
How do you improve that?
Africa, less than 3%.
How do you improve that?
Policy, first of all, right?
Policy,
first of all, which is still a government thing. So you first go to presidency, the president will set up a committee, then there's minister, right? Then the commissioners in different states. You still have to put policies in place. Yeah, but I mean, there are a lot of P's. There's policy, there's private, there's public, there's partnerships, right? So policies would govern so many things that will change and become compulsory, right? I think they just signed the NHIS bill, right, that makes health insurance compulsory. Right?
Where?
Before it
signed that in Nigeria.
I think that's what Buhari signed recently, if I'm right. Yeah, I think he signed that recently, right? But then before it trickles down to Nigeria, there's a time when Ambode signed, there must be emergency services at every event and so in Nigeria. People doesn't even, right? You do what they want, right? But everything at the end of the day, right, it boils down to policy one, right? The ideas to execute, right? The execution, right? The implementation of whatever these plans are. Policy, you plan, right? Implement whatever it is you want to plan, right? But then most importantly, right, it needs to be private sector led. I always give the example of times like in your house, right? You're your own government. You provide your own light, right? As everyone is a backup gen. If there's no NEPA, you put on your light, right? Your internet, you provide yourself, right? Your water, you're most likely digging your own borehole. Right. Your telecommunications, you provide yourself. It's private sector led, right? The diesel that is supplied to your gen is private sector led, right? Mention anything that works in this country. The road on your street.
But isn't that even an argument for even like the next president of Nigeria being? Let me just put aside. Put this one in. Next president of Nigeria being somebody that thinks that way. Shouldn't Nigerians be looking that, okay, since that's the solution, that we know that? Because people are still always, I hear a lot of people still feel like, oh, government can do this, that, okay, let's get another president that would come and bubble us and tell us all these fantastic things of how all these industries can work. Or should we be looking at a president that is going to come in and sell everything?
I mean, to be honest, right, the president can say stuff about how things can work, honestly, right? But then you still have to do a bit of selling, right? You have to like not sell off, but get in the buy-in of the private sector. Like you said, banking works. The reason why banking works is because of private sector. So the president would have to music
works.
See, it's
the
only because of
NTA comes into music. That's the end of it.
You get like see, people need to get this thing. Like so, see NTA has been there since before a lot of private.
There was a time they were the only ones.
Before a lot of private companies came in.
Yeah.
Nitel, right? Moment MTN came in, Glow, Airtel, private companies. Yes, we support our government, right? To, put in policies, put things in place, right? But you can't imagine. See MTEL. I don't know. I think MTEL came from. Did they come from NITEL? I don't even know. There's MTEL.
Intel.
Was it?
They acquired NITEL, but they didn't use any of the NITEL assets.
Are they even still working?
They are. They are.
Do you get? I don't even know they have any government affiliations, right?
They don't really have anything.
Okay, well, so I'm just assuming, right? But my point is that see banking sector now. Do you get, like, banking sector is so big because of
that
private
independence.
Yeah, the independence they have from let's assume so let's assume government is involved, which they are involved because you have to be taxed, right? That's what it is, tax. Right?
But let's say that the government had a bank and was a competitor. The same way they are in NNPC.
Think about it. Look at NNPC. Look at the oil and gas sector.
Yeah.
Oil and gas sector is run by who?
It's private. It's private.
Now,
yeah.
NNPC,
but the upstream, the part that is run by government, that's where you have issues. Like the midstream, rather, where you are bringing in products all these
so
things.
like if it's
that's
private,
why we have fluctuation in prices, fluctuation in supply.
Do you get? So you have to privatize healthcare. Yes. Simple and short.
I actually agree.
It's part of our roadmap. Right. I can't say too much on air, right? But it's literally part of you have to privatize healthcare.
But I also now feel like there's another problem that you're not looking at. There's one problem that I believe is that is even probably the biggest problem in healthcare, which is trust. I'm talking about patients trusting doctors. Let me give you an example.
Go on.
Let me give you an example. Do you know that in Nigeria, if you are sick, if you are first sick, you go to pharmacies. This is the life cycle of a sick person. Yes. If you are, the first thing is to self-medicate, go to a pharmacist. Feeling this way, the person gives you a drug, right? That drug is not working, then you go to hospital, then you run some tests. Then when you get to that test and they now tell you that, you have one serious problem like this, then you go to Babalawo. Right, and then you now go to Babalawo, and maybe Babalawo does, and nothing is coming. You now come back to hospital. Do you know there are a lot of and this is a fact. I know someone. I was with somebody recently. I was in a meeting, and the guy told me that he had this nasty car accident, and he injured his head cracked, and his leg got broken very, very bad. And when he wanted to go and treat his leg, people were telling him that guy, don't go to hospital. If you go to hospital, they go cut him. So, and the guy is telling me that they told him that he shouldn't go to hospital, that he went to the village, that he went to one village to one Baba, that went to go and help him straighten his leg. Yeah. And it's okay. And now one leg is short. You see the guy limping, and I'm like, and the guy is telling me this story, and I'm like, And I'm thinking like, hey, God, I couldn't even make any comment, because if I tell this guy, like, what you do don't make sense. Come on, the guy, if he go commit suicide, and the guy in his mind is justified. He feels like that is why is there this trust? Do you get me? I have my own personal trust story as well. But why is there this trust?
Even me as a doctor, right, I have my personal trust with the healthcare system, which is what we're trying to change. Right. But the problem it still comes, like, for instance, like, if you look at the public sector, if we still leave it to public, even private sectors, like, there's hardly any training, right? There's hardly any upskilling. So you finish as a doctor. For instance, I work in public sector, I work in private sector, right? You say out of 100%, right? Maybe 2%, 3% of places you go to work, right? And they train or upskill. Right, you are learning, right? So everybody's just for eco. You get eco. So you go to school, you learn your house job, do your house job, you work in one place, right? Whatever you learn in that one place or doing your house job is all you learn as a doctor. Do you get? Which is why a lot of people want to learn, want to be better. People want to be surgeons or whatever it is they want to be, right? Cardiologists. Like, there's no growth. If you're not in a teaching hospital, right, you can't grow to the ranks. And even if you're in a teaching hospital, right, there's only so much you get to do. Right, because there's a hierarchy, right? There are a lot of people, right, trying to achieve the same thing you're trying to achieve, right? You have to write exams, right? That sometimes people say are not really fair, right? But they don't have enough equipment to practice and learn. So I'm light years behind colleagues in the States or in the UK.
Okay, that's probably why people are even running away. Not even because of the money, because
no,
of
it's money now. So it's money.
Money is also there.
Self-development, right? It's like, I want to become this. I want to become a consultant in this. Like, I used to watch House, like, on TV, like Dr. House, right? watch a lot of medical shows, and it was like, man, this thing is badass. Like, I had to become a doctor. Like, and those are some of the things that convinced me. You get? So when I was taking my initial exams, it's that, okay, I have to become a doctor. So I said, okay, so you become a doctor now. You don't want to specialize to become this. How do you get there? You have to do training. It's apprenticeship, and I say it all the time. Apprenticeship. Say a mechanic becomes good to this apprenticeship. A tailor, they'll do freedom. Apprenticeship, right? Everyone does apprenticeship because you are not born with the skill, with the knowledge, right? But then, even as an apprentice, if you're not compensated well, so the truth of the matter is that all those tailors that always delay, because they're not paying them well. They're not paying them well. There's no motivation to do the work.
Yeah.
So that's why you say, oh, what I ordered versus what I got. Right? That tailor is not chopping well.
So that's the same thing with doctors. So we're not paying the doctors well.
Do you get,
and that's
so,
why they are.
Think about it. How do you
Do you
get, like, how do you pay a doctor maybe less than minimum wage, like in the States, in culture? Let's not even compare climates, like in Nigeria, right? When I used to work in public sector, like, I mean, I was proud of where I used to work. I will tell anybody any day I work here, right? And to be honest, I'm even proud of where I used to work. I was proud to say where I used to work all the time in public sector. Working? In one of the Lagos State hospitals, right? But I was proud to say I was working there, right? Not because of anything, right? But because I knew that, I mean, that's not the place that was paying me. That's not I was keeping my light on at Nigeria. But I mean, I was proud to be able to help, right? But then in that place, I was earning less than 200,000 naira, right? As a doctor. And this is like maybe almost 6 or 7 years post
uni.
Do you get? I can't remember how many years post uni. But it's like I was earning less than 200,000. Like, if you think about it, what's 200,000 going to do for you? Like, if you really sit down and think about it, my fuel alone, right, to fill up my tank, like 16K. Do you get? And I used to come from the island to the mainland, right? So no matter what happens, I'm going to fill up my tank every week. So if you think about it, that money is gone. Like, that's almost like 64,000 naira, right? What's left? So to be honest, like, even as a dad, like, I should not even looking at any babe. Because like, I should not be looking at, because it's like,
which money do you want to spend?
Which money do you want to spend? I should not even think of progressing in life. I should not be thinking of having a family. I should not be thinking of rent. I should not even think of renting house. How do I want to rent house? How do I want to rent house on less than 200,000 naira?
You're like one room.
How much is the where? Yeah, I have to be living beside the hospital. In Korodu. You get, like, I have to, like, so, like, there's a fundamental problem there. And even at that place, right? What's the motivation? You come, like, you're the boss. Like, as a doctor, like, in the public hospital, I mean, there's no instruction. Nobody's giving instruction. You there, you show up, right? You're a demigod, right? In your establishment, right? They come in, whenever you come in, or whenever you do whatever, is whenever it starts. Whenever you show up is when it starts, right? So you show up, right? And you have loads of patients. Whatever you give them is what you give them. Whatever you say is what you say. Who is fact checking you? Right? There's no hierarchy of learning, right? Like, you have and even, in a teaching hospital, right?
And even like,
there's nothing to aspire to.
And even there's nothing to even punish you if you do something wrong. Because I was going to say, like, that's what even allows rackets. Do you get that? Because of this problem of, okay, let's say you have something else that is helping you solve your problems. A lot of other doctors don't have anything to help them with their children's school fees, or, for instance, and that money has to come from somewhere. Their children are in school now. So at that point comes rackets.
Is it more rackets, or that's when people don't focus? So they're not necessarily racket, but then, like,
there's racket too.
The average doctor working in a public hospital works somewhere else.
Yes.
They're trying to make money. I mean, I don't know what you mean by rackets, right? But
I would
like,
say
they're
rackets.
working in one public hospital. They're working in maybe 3 private hospitals to make ends meet.
And they'll be diverting
Because
people from.
they will be diverting people. Like you said, maybe that's a racket, but they'll be diverting people from public hospital. Or come and meet me here. That's if you can afford it.
And that's even
other than that.
Now
you
the
just
problem
wait.
I have is in the course of directing people from the private hospital to the public hospital, they cannot even. They'll start giving you a problem you don't have. Because that one has happened to me. It happened to my son.
Yeah.
You know, it happened to my son. Yes, it happened to my son. Where my son had constipation and they told me that my son had M-sprung.
Hair-sprung.
They did not know I was an engineer. They did not know I was an engineer. M-sprung's disease. I started reading. I turned to doctor. Something M-sprung. I did X-ray. It was pure lies. Pure lies. At the end of the day,
it was just. I won't say it was pure lies.
It's pure lies.
No, you say
because even the radiologist that did the X-ray wrote it in his report that there was nothing wrong with the boy, and the woman took the report, did not release the report to my wife, you know, and just said that if my son did not do that surgery in 3 days, he can die.
So there's that.
Those were our words.
I mentioned it to you
that
before.
We should come and meet her in a private hospital.
I mentioned to you before. So you said rackets, right?
Yes.
I mentioned to you before, like
I know you people are like a cultist group.
It's like
you always protect.
No. Trust me. I'm the last person.
You left the cult.
I'm the last person. I'll never be part of the cult. Why? Because like I'm the last person. I will call out the doctor for doing bullshit. Like that's me. I will call out my fellow colleague, right? That's wrong. This is wrong, right? I mean, so I do not. Which is why, like, there's now, like, the medical legal aspect of medicine, like, can you sue this person? Can you sue this person, right? I still want to do it. Like, I still want to go in, like, when I've made money in life, right?
That would be a dope idea
I'm going to go into it, right? And cleanse the system. A lot of doctors will hate me, right? But I mean, it's what it is.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is that kind of situation, right? She was first of all trying to make extra money, possibly, right? I said misdiagnosis. So it's one thing for you to misdiagnose, right? But for one thing is now to want to get money, right, that you don't deserve, right? Because you're trying to like maybe pad your books or whatever, right? Which is maybe what it is in her situation because you said the radiologist already confirmed there was nothing there, right? But then I mentioned earlier to you that there's this God factor. I can bet, right, that you went to public hospital, right, to see this woman.
Yes.
I can bet, right?
Yeah.
You go to public to see the woman. There's this God factor, meaning whatever I say is what should.
Yeah.
Don't go and seek a second opinion anywhere else,
yeah.
right? But me, I mean, as a doctor, like I was always been like, this is wrong. Go somewhere else. If you think, right, get second, third opinions, right, before you finally take your verdict. Because whatever it is you're going to, like a surgery, could be. Yes, it's meant to be a permanent fix, but it has long-lasting effects.
Yeah.
Right? So yes, trying to make extra money is something like doctors do like, and maybe prescribe extra medication.
And that's dangerous.
Right? It is.
That's the same problem with like police. When you don't pay police well, you know, like, and you say that they will not do, those are sectors that they should be taken care of because it is dangerous for a doctor to have a renegade doctor. It is dangerous for you to have a renegade, you know?
Yeah.
And to imagine that Nigeria is like the Wild Wild West where doctors and police are just, you know, these very, very important sectors, you know, are just on the streets. Just if they need 20K this night, they just have to look at their patients and which patient I go give cancer today. which patient I go give cancer.
I honestly agree. And to be honest, there's some people that should not just be practicing. There's some doctors that should not just. And I say
you can't blame them because even if like me now, I always tell my friends like, anytime I see police, do you get? Sometimes I'm sure they probably think I'm a criminal. I always want to give them money. Do you get? In fact, when I'm going out, I keep money for police. I like to give police money. Like I always like to give police money because I have seen the reason why. Let me give you a story. The day I got into trouble with police, I was completely innocent. I did not do anything. And they accused me of armed robbery. I'm telling you. They accused me of, I've never seen anything like that. When they took me to station, they said I should give them 250,000. I say 200, for what? I can remember I was telling the DCO in the station that, are you sure it's me? When they brought me out of the cell, that there's one other guy in the cell. Maybe he's in, the guy got so upset with me. Anyway, station scatter. That's how the DPO, he wasn't involved in the racket. He just got upset at all the racket going on. He was a northerner, right? And it was just like, all cases should go to court. Brother, by the time I got to court was when I knew that police is your friend. That 250,000 I did not want to give police as bribe. I spent almost 500,000 in court. That one is even another day. I'm waiting for the day I find one police I will interview. We'll discuss what happened there. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that is so since then like this. Before I was angry at police, but I now realize that this thing is just, do you understand? Like, this problem
is a way of survival.
It's a way of survival.
That's the truth.
Do you understand?
I watched a movie similar to what you said. It just came out on Netflix. Similar to this story. So since then, I'm looking at police in a different light, right? Like you said, always wanting to give police, right? Honestly, like, if I don't have cash, you can.
When they were doing NSAS, I wanted to go and slap people there. Leave these people.
Because to be honest, that's what the movie portrayed. I've forgotten what it is. It's collision course. Collision course, if I'm right? I think it's about Balambala or St. Peter's or so, right? But the truth of the matter is that in that movie, right, it showed one police guy, the problems he was going through at home, living in one bedroom. His wife was always beating him. That's no money, this and that. She's going to leave him, right? And he was an innocent guy. But then there were the so-called, I think they call them TAS or Mars or whatever it was, right? And those guys running rackets, you get this and that, not caring for life. And they said, if you want to join our team, right, you have to bring money. He brought money that he was going to use for his child's school fees. So how do you make that money back? He now started taxing people on the road, anything for the boys, this and that, right? Which, to be honest, is the reality of what we have in this country, which you bring again back to healthcare, right? It's the reality of why doctors do PPP, right? Sorry, I said PPP, private practice, everywhere else, hop from place to, and it's not just young doctors, you go all the way to consultants. I have consultant friends, medical doctors who have been doctors for at least 15, 20 years. They've jackpot. They've gone to start again in another country. People that are almost 50, they're going to start again in another country. Like people that taught us in school, consultants you respect, wearing suits. They've gone to start at the bottom, right? Because like it just wasn't feasible anymore. Really, like when your consultant, you see your consultant, the kind of car is driving. In fact, in school, there are some doctors that used to say to us that, see, this medicine you're reaching, just pass your exam and finish you. But do you want to make money in life? They'll tell us, sir, yes, now. Okay. Once you finish medicine, change. If it's money you're looking for, you're in the wrong profession. Right? Because like at the end of the day, I tell you, this is just humanitarian service, which is what a lot of people think. Which is why sometimes people don't even want to pay, right, for like healthcare, right? Because they feel it's a humanitarian service, right? But then like for the people who went to school for 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, some people don't even finish school because of strikes and other things for like 10 years, right? You now come out. And they say like healthcare is one of the sectors where, or like, so being a doctor, being a nurse, where you can never, there's always jobs. There are always jobs, right? And you can never be broke. That's what they say. But then the money you're collecting, you might as well be broke. And that's the matter.
How about the startup idea? Check this out. Temporarily that this problem is happening, why don't we create a startup where people should just be giving doctors free money the same way we are giving police free money? Maybe people should just be sending money to doctors that please, we should, crowdfunding. So
I mean, there has to be a good reason, right?
To give them money.
It has to be a good reason. The reason why give the police money is because first of all, they're carrying a gun and they're starting.
No, me, it's not because of the gun.
That's you. For a normal day, it's like they're smiling to anything, pure water, right? But at the same time, you want to placate a police officer, right? Because anything can happen. So at that point,
anything, if doctor give you sprung or give you brain cancer, anything can happen to
doctor
or you annoy the doctor, the doctor don't took the injection like this.
No, doctor is a bit different, right? Because I mean,
but they're just as dangerous.
No, I mean, not really. You can refuse not to take whatever.
Let me give you one gist. I had this friend. He's no more in Nigeria. He's a doctor, and he had a fight with Lasma, and he got so upset with that Lasma, and he said, and he told him, I was just listening to him that day. And he told him that, do you know that if somebody hits you, right, on the road and they bring you to my hospital, do you know I can kill you? Yeah? I just said, wait. I don't think hospital for my life. I don't go to hospital for my life. Do you understand what I'm saying? So like, for me, doctors are just as dangerous.
It's possible, right? That doctor said that, right? And to be honest,
We need to be bribing them.
That's the only thing.
We need to bribe them for premium performance.
That's the only thing. I mean, I wish it was possible, but that's the only thing doctors and nurses do. So like so we pull together like doctors, nurses, like people in the healthcare industry. So doctors, nurses, paramedics, medical lab scientists, which are also phlebotomists, right? And the idea is that we offer them like we get jobs for them, right? Which is like it's like a pattern, it's like Uber, right? Like, but the idea really behind it is like, oh, we go out there, we get all the jobs, right? And then like on the platform, like the doctor or nurse or paramedic can access extra jobs. Right? So you're working wherever you are.
And you can now get
extra jobs. I mean,
that's what you do now.
Yeah. So the Uber drivers, right? I mean, they are all working somewhere. Some are full time on Uber, right? They do it every day, right? But then they work somewhere. You can work in a bank. You can work as a doctor and be doing Uber. You can work anywhere, really, right?
But are you guys paying them well?
Yes, I say it all the time, right? So they earn well, and at some points, like we were even compared to Evercare, which was like a new hospital.
Okay.
Right. It's like they're getting so many side gigs, right? They're making more money than people who were full time at hospitals,
wow.
Right. But then like, and that's the idea really, right? Can we work on, because I mean there's so many things that need healthcare. Like what we do, like there's so many things we do, right, that we can offer like as jobs. Like there's money in Nigeria, right, to be distributed, right, to those who actually do the work. And I believe, I mean, healthcare professionals, like I have a soft spot of healthcare professionals. Like my own is, I do the work, you get paid. Right? Can you get paid well? Yes, why not? Like there's sometimes, in fact, there's some ridiculous amount of payments we've made, right, to people, and they're like you've worked, right? But like, for instance, if you say we set the rates, and the rates are not anyhow rates, like they're not cheap rates, right? Meaning like if you are with us 30 days straight, meaning you don't work anywhere else, right? You'd make more money than people who work like in hospitals.
Okay,
like,
but when that happens to now, if I'm a poor person now, and I think that this thing with this man they talk. If all the doctors now start getting paid better, what happens to the people that cannot afford? And would it be a situation that what the Igbo people are doing, the rich people, like taking some good doctors, the remaining that are now good will now leave the government hospital and be working for you for more money?
We're not telling anybody to leave.
No, but if I can make more money working for you full time, right? Why do I want to work for government?
They will still work because it's still extra money. It's like, for instance, so let's assume you're making 200K, in your public hospital, right? And you've come on a platform, right? And maybe for extra money every other day, like you're making 300K, right? You put 300K plus 200K
is something. But if I leave that job and I come, that 300K can become 600K instead of 200K.
It's not impossible. But then the problem is that you will still be competing with other people. It's like,
you'll be competing.
Just like it's almost like Uber now. Like one driver is not making 1 million naira because, and the reason why that one driver is not making 1 million naira because he still has to do the work, and while he's doing work, there's another person. You can't do you can't do everything.
Yeah.
You get right. Yeah. But the idea really is that we can grow into, because like we do a lot of things like in the healthcare space, right? But we're initially focused on emergencies, right? Because I mean, obviously now there's no proper emergency care system.
I have a friend that lost his dad
in Nigeria
for very stupid.
They're very stupid reason. I mean, that's why I said that I lost my uncles. Like, and I had an accident, right? I mean, scars on my face. Like, it's not something I hide. People, I tell everybody that wants to know. You get like, I was able to get care for like 1.5 hours. I'm a doctor, right? I was able to get access care for like 1.5 hours, right? No ambulance, nothing, right? And I lost my uncles. So I mean, someone dying of an asthma attack nowadays in this country is the fact is just too much of a senseless thing to kill you. Like asthma.
Yeah,
All
something
right.
like that. My friend's dad, something that
Do you get, like,
his medication had finished and he couldn't get it again, and the
Do
man
you
just
get- and
passed.
this-
$8 billion.
So you see, the solution to that is too simple, right? It's too simple, and that's what we're solving for, right? So like, if we can provide solutions like that, so I mean, see the solution Uber solves, right? Literally, if we think about it, right, the solution Uber solves is so simple, right? That as opposed to coming out of your house and walking down the
Standing on
road,
the road.
to hail a cab, like if you think about what we used to do back then, yeah,
Why
we,
start on the-
do you understand?
Why-
And then you
why
get,
start at the
and then
bus stop?
when there were these red cabs that came back in the day, I don't even know what company
That was even only in Lekki phase 1.
Do you
now.
get? Like without back in school, you know, like we used to book them for parties,
Yeah.
right? But you get the contact of the driver, right?
Yeah.
So now Uber has said we'll give you all their contacts. Do you get?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We'll put you on a platform. Don't leave your bedroom. Book. Prepare yourself. I tell you how long it will take for you to get here.
Okay.
Do you get? Before you stand on the road, you look in there. Be 4 of you on try to hail down one cab, and it's first come first serve.
I can remember a horrible,
Like
very
literally,
horrible system.
right? And if you're in uni, like if you're in any university, you share the cab. Do you get? Like all of you, 5 of you, you pay the cab driver, and then they'll go around and come back. But now, like Uber, it makes it easier. So it's the same concept, really. At the end of the day, right? Can we make healthcare accessible, right? In that way, this person has went to die. Is it possible that somebody could have responded and come to him? Yes. Why not? Right? Is it possible that at an event you need healthcare, right? You can have people at the location. Why not? Like what is, I mean, I need someone to tell me what healthcare challenge they can have that cannot be solved with something like that.
Yes.
You get with what we're doing now, right? Emergencies and urgent care, really. So we connect like people who need this, like people in distress, right? To our platform of, emergency responders. So, we're hoping, right? That, it has the impact to which we want it to have, right? And it grows as big as we want it to grow. I don't think we alone can solve the problem, right? But then we will take a chunk out of the market.
And what I like what you just said now about you not being able to solve the problem alone.
Can't solve the alone.
Because in every, like, I realize that, okay, me now, I'm trying to solve a problem in logistics, right? I'm building a solution to, and I realized on studying the industry, like, how, when you look at tech, how people have used technology to improve different sectors, how you are using technology to improve healthcare, right? How I want to use technology to improve logistics. There's a value chain, right? There's so many things that needs to be solved, right? There's issue of technology adoption, like things as simple as some of the people that you may be needing to interact with the app don't know how to use technology. So many things but in sectors like fintech, like you see that banks, bigger institutions have already solved these problems. Now, I hope that more people come into these sectors to be able to solve problems maybe within the hospitals, right? That will make it seamless for you to integrate your solution into hospitals, do you understand? Because there's so many problems that need to be solved that you cannot do alone, right? If you build your technology needs to be able to collaborate with other
players in the space.
With other players in the space,
Yeah,
do you understand? And that is a lot of technology, do you understand? So, like once you are doing one place, if another person comes into one space too, so we need to also encourage a lot of people to come into entrepreneurship. Do you get? I think maybe that's another challenge because for an entrepreneur to do well, you need many other entrepreneurs. Do you get? It's that ecosystem of entrepreneurs that would allow. Do you get? And that's one of the problems I feel like we have in Nigeria. A lot of people doing fantastic things alone. Do you understand? You're just there in the desert, just you trying to facing this tidal wave of of problems because so many people don't have the stomach or the zeal to be able to come out and do this work.
Yes, I think it's a mix, but like you said, we need to be able to collaborate, which is what the word is, right? Collaboration. Like, can I work with you? Like, people don't understand that this market, a market that has like 200 plus million people is a big market. America doesn't have 500 million people. Right? India, yes, 1 billion. Asia, you get. But like Nigeria alone, right? 200 plus million people. Lagos alone, 20 plus million people, right? It's a beginning of a market for everybody to be able to collaborate and solve the problem. But everybody's still trying to do one man army.
But are there even a lot of healthcare startups?
Yes, sir.
A lot?
Yes, like there are at least in Nigeria, if they're not almost 100. Right.
Are you guys collaborating?
That's the thing. This was just great. Like, how many healthcare startups are really collaborating? Right. Everybody's seeing everybody as competition.
How?
Right? Like,
why now?
You guys, like, everybody's seeing as it's like, I'm market leader. I want to be the market leader. I want to leave it behind. You get.
But one person cannot be the market leader of
the
all of healthcare. You can be a market leader of
in your sector.
In one
right?
sector.
And how many people are telling people? Because look at it, collaboration means a lot more than we're working together. Collaboration means I've seen a solution to this. Let me tell you about it. Right? Can you do the same thing? Right? But if I tell you about that thing,
I solved this one, you solved that one.
It's possible, right? Can I solve for here? You solve for there. Let's distribute the market. You solve here, you solve there. Right? Let's collaborate, meeting the point. When there needs to be a crossover, a handshake, and let you do it.
Yeah, because right? let me give you an idea. Let me even tell you something in telecoms. I remember I had one uncle one time that used to provide SMS service for Glow. So Glow was Glow, right? But the SMS, when you send the text message, the servers that were handling that service were not owned by Glow. They were owned by a different company. It was owned by one of my uncle's companies that put the server in Glow. Do you get like something like, and Glow just pays. They just do a deal and they focused on what they were good at. A whole Glow. You assume that Glow was doing everything, or
even up to now, yes. Now
you find out that now telecoms has even gone even way beyond that. Before, every telecom company was building his own mast. Now people just rent. You get, you have your mast here. In fact, people are now building individual mast and people just bring their radios and just pay rent. On one. Unlike before, Glow build mast. Do you understand what I'm saying? So collaboration is something that we also really, really, really need to look at.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I say this all the time, right? Like, I'm a fan of collaboration, right? But then, like, how many people are really, really, truly down to do this thing? Because, like, how open are you going to be about working together? Like, we work with a few health tech startups, right? There's one that delivers medication whenever you need it, right? It's like you can order here literally now. If you go on your phone and you order like medication, any medication in this life that you can think of, right? Go online, order, right? They bring it to you here before the podcast is over. Like you have it, right? That's Pharma Run, right? There's another like emergency response company that we partner with as well, right? So emergency response, right? But we partner with a few, right, to make sure that
services delivered.
Yeah, like if we can't get there, if we can't like. We partner with you, like, no problem. Like, the money that you make is not going to kill my business. Do you understand?
Of course.
Right? But then, like, but in the startup world, right, there's a lot of fundraising. There's a lot of trying to make headway, right? But then sharing the knowledge. Because first of all, like I say, like if it's a doctor that's leading this health tech startup, like I am, right? There are not many things they don't teach you business in school. As a doctor. In fact, there are many, if you're not in investment banking sector, if you're not in the fintech sector, like there are not so many, even if as a coder, they don't teach you business.
No.
Do you get? There are only a few people who are born with this, right? And so therefore there's knowledge sharing. Do you get? Like, would you tell me about your investor? Would you direct your investors to me to give me money? Like when I ask you,
but that's alternative in the US. If you go to if you want to look at American culture and Nigerian culture now, for instance, now you want to learn a new technology. If you go on YouTube, you are seeing people hustling to teach you. People are competing to teach you. Do you understand? There's so much content, but you don't see that in Nigeria. You see welder wants to teach Omoshe, he will not agree. Do you understand? There's still. So how do we now build a community of collaboration? I don't know. The Holy Spirit. Yeah. Maybe churches should take on that challenge.
The answer is far.
Maybe churches should take on
I think everybody just wants to seem like they can do it by themselves.
Dog eat dog.
Do you get like I want to do it by me? Like don't worry, I can solve the problem myself. And like the problem is just you. Like I look at the healthcare space now. I mean, there's one company that I spoke to. They came in from outside the country. They wanted to roll out in Nigeria at the time. This was like 4 years ago. 3 years ago. And I said, let me break it down to you what the healthcare sector is. I think I broke it down to 17. I don't think I can remember. Right? But then, if you look at the problem of, let me just use this like emergency space, right? Like, you have an emergency, right? I always say 3 things. Who do you call? Where do you go? What do you do? Right? Primary question. Can you solve all those? Who do you call? Like, who are you calling? Go. Right now, if you have an emergency, what will you do?
One more. I'll start speaking in tongues.
No, so right now, as I'm talking now, your boy is at home, right? And your wife calls you now that...
I know you now.
Wait, there is no breathing.
I know you.
So see, that's where it starts. You're going to call me because I'm a doctor, first of all, and because we're sitting down in this place now, yes. Right? So yes, you remember that I have this doctor that is doing this thing. You call me. Other than that, maybe you have called one of your siblings, right? If it's your mom in that situation, she's going to call you, right?
Yeah, I don't have to call.
You don't have to call somebody. Friends, right? Well, guess what? Time is going. Right? So who to call, right, is a big thing.
Is it? Yeah.
Right? We call neighbors, help me out. This thing, come and remove us the car. Call the driver. Do you get so many things? You're looking. Okay, where are you now going? That's the question. Yes. Where are you going? Right? So, what hospital are you going to? Like, tell me where you're going. So your wife has called you. You've gotten there. You picked up your son. He's still not breathing. Right? You've gotten the driver. You've got inside the car. You put on the lights. You've told your gate man. You shouted at the gate man. Come on, open the gate. Stop delaying me. Right? I'm going somewhere. Where are you going? That's the question. You now remember your wife says, there's one hospital behind the house. You now start driving there. That gate near your house is locked. Right? You now start looking for the nearest. That gate is locked because they've turned the whole of everywhere to estate. Right? You now happen to find a way to get to the hospital. You might say, sorry, like we don't treat
children
here. That's what they first are. Or let's assume they treat our doctor is not on duty, or we don't treat this kind of case. What kind of case is this? Like the patient is not breathing. Like, what do you mean you can only treat like revive this? So like you've now gotten there, right? They now say, okay, go to the hospital. You go to the hospital. Same thing. You don't know where you're going. You now get to the maybe right hospital. Do they know what to do? Right? If you're even that lucky, right? If this is maybe dead in the night, right? Roads are free.
That's what happened to my friend's dad. Exactly.
Roads are free. Right? Roads are free. I keep saying maybe the road is free.
Yeah.
Right? If he's dead during the day, right? 3 p.m., 4 p.m., closing hour, rush hour, or early in the morning, 7 a.m. They're trying to get to a place when there's traffic, everyone's going to work. Think about it. If the place now happens to be a place where it's inaccessible because road is not necessarily good. So on a normal day, right? Like there's that added to it. Right. So you see, there are different problems. So let's not assume that you're able to get to this place. Do they have enough hands? Right? Are the people, are the doctors or nurses?
Do they have the drug?
Are they staffed well? Are they well resourced? Meaning they have like everything they need to attend to this case. Do they even know what case it is? Right, at that point in time. Right. So there are so many things. Right. Like you said, do they have this drug? Do they have that drug? Who is paying? Like,
we've seen the issue of money kill people.
Like,
how are you paying? Where is the money? You forgot your ATM at home.
Maybe you forgot your ATM at home. You have to pay when you get there, right? Because healthcare is not free. The light has to be on. The gen, whatever they go to,
and they won't trust you.
They don't trust.
They don't trust
it's
you.
the fact, because let's be honest.
Yes.
Let's be honest. I've been in a situation when you finish treating the patients. Patients, that is, I will pay. Look, go and wire money. Look, pay uncle. So I will pay. Once they are better at this,
that's the end.
You will see their demeanor change. The money I paid
it's
you.
not just this situation.
Yes, the money I paid you, is it not enough? Do you guys, let's assume you won't pay small. Like, my balance. Do you not want to be fighting? So left to me, like if I had a hospital today, right? There's going to be a small cell in my hospital. I'm not joking. Like, I finish, you're telling me speaking English. Constable.
Inside the prison.
That's it.
That's healthcare startup.
I'm telling you.
Prison for hospital.
I'm not joking. There's prison cell in the hospital. You'll be there. As you're walking, patients are seeing you. So that as you walk in, they are seeing you at the gate there. So this is what happens to people that don't pay.
If you fall sick there, we'll give you drip, no problem.
Inside there. Because, like, I don't mind. I can treat you. You come in an emergency, things like that, right? But you have to pay. Because if not, right, the next time someone else comes, the person doesn't have the money, which is true. I mean, like, a good percentage of our population doesn't have the money.
You see, that's even another startup here.
Lives
healthcare
loan. Yes, but that's a lot of people are trying to solve this problem, right? But there's still so many things that are integrated in it, right? Too many intricacies. Healthcare loan. How do you know you're loaning? Are you loaning money to somebody that cannot pay you back? Right. So that's loan gonna miss. Right. Which is loan like it's a rubbish loan. It's a rubbish loan because even banks, and that's the reason why banks don't loan you money if you don't bring certain things. They have certain collaterals, right? They know that you have your account system. They can track it. They know you're earning money, so and so and so. That's why they only loan to those people. There are startups who are trying to do the ones that, okay, maybe because of your credit, can loan you based on the amount of credit that you buy, which is not bad, right? But I mean, see that hospital part, right? If you can't pay, what do I do? How do I pay my staff? So you get a lot of people don't look at it from this point of view, especially in emergencies, which is where we play. And in emergency, right?
Story go plenty.
Too many stories. I give you an example. Like today, I told you I was in an emergency.
Yeah.
Right. Stroke, this and that, right? Yes, you can handle a team. Sir, sometimes it's difficult. Like there's a thin line between delaying and making sure your business still runs. Like emergency, for instance, right, today, and a CVA, which was like a stroke, basically, right? And they want to travel out of state, right? This is how much it costs, right? They know how much it costs. Oh yeah, now pay the money. Because to be honest, like at that point in time, they're even at the hospital already, meaning they've already done something to this case. They've already maybe stabilized this person at the hospital. Oh yeah, paid. No, they say becoming. The problem with becoming is that if they change their mind anywhere between where you've left and the hospital, you have yourself to blame. But if they paid, if they like change their mind, you've collected your money because your lights need to keep running. But it's an emergency, remember. Like you look at it, so there are different models we're exploring, right? To be able to solve this problem, right? Because like in the States, 911, when you call 911, right? There are different ways people pay for 911 that they don't know they pay for 911.
Yes.
Right? There are so many things we have to explore to solve the problem. When you 911, what's your emergency? Oh, it's not breathing. They're keeping you on the phone. A team is being dispatched. Next thing, team is at your house, right? They drop the phone. They're attending to you. Next thing, you're in the hospital, right? And all that, all the processes that you've gone through, right, are paid for. Your bill is coming to you, insurance bill. Your bill will come to you at home, wherever you are. In Nigeria, where are you going to find the person? Let's assume insurance. Where you go to find the person? So the problem. Nigeria is not even mapped. Nigeria is not mapped properly, right? For us to even be able to determine, I mean, you go to one street and there are 3 number 12s on one street, right? But the person said, I'm number 12, Idioro Street, right? But guess what? There are 4 Idioros in Lagos. So if happen, you send bill to the wrong Idioro, to the wrong number 12, right? What happens? Like, how do you get these things to work? So you say, so the healthcare system is layered on so many other
things that must work,
right? I mean, you can manage them, but for it to work and function at the level
at a very high,
you get that
rate.
we need it to work, right? Like in the States and UK, Netherlands, other places, like all the other systems must collaborate. So different sectors must collaborate to make it work. Telco sector, banking sector, the healthcare sector itself, right? The planning and whatever sector, right? All of us must collaborate to make it work.
That's why for now we still use that's why the places where they solve health issue the most till now is still church and babalawo.
Because Nigeria is built on faith, religion. Nigeria is a religion-based country. Right. Babalawo, whether or not you like it, is a religion.
Of course.
Like religion.
I'm even looking for babalawo to interview.
Like literally, like literally, right? You have to understand that people believe in the idea that God will heal them, right? No matter what, right? Yeah, much I'm a doctor. Sometimes I used to always argue with my dad. That's a pastor. I'm a doctor. When he says, "Oh, there's something wrong," hospital says, "No, son. I prayed for him. He's healed." No problem. Like it's something. I'm not going to argue with my dad because I'm a Christian too now. Do you get? I believe, but that's the reason why. Like they are doctors, right? You can pray, and to be honest, it's proven really, right? Like people that pray for instance, in the States, right? Like religion has a place in the healthcare system, right? So for instance, patients will get healed faster, right? It's been proven, right?
Yes.
After a doctor has seen them because they believe they've prayed and their family has prayed with them, right? So their faith to a certain extent helps them heal. Right? There's a psychological aspect, right, to the healthcare system. So it's not too far-fetched. But for you to believe only in religion, right? Without doing the needful, without going to the hospital, staying at home, can't work. You get? And that's literally where we find ourselves in Nigeria.
So this is another fantastic episode. I'm so glad that you came. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me.